I'm in Miami, bitch.
What up, my name is DJ Chuckie, and you're watching BPM Radio Australia.
Hi guys, we're here today with the man himself, one of my personal favourites, CHUCKIE.
What's up, man?
Thanks for joining us on BPM
Thanks for
Radio
having
Australia.
me. Thanks for having me, man.
So I want to start off by knowing, how did you actually first start in music? Like, what were your first sort of influences? Do you come from a musical family?
Yeah, basically, so I grew up in South America, and you know, in South America there's music all over the place. Of course, that's your only environment. You know, listening to radio, listening to my dad. He was a radio DJ, and one of my first memories of music, I remember I was in a car and I heard Shannon let the music play. Which is basically still, it's electronic music, but it's also a hip hop record and an R&B record at the same time, you know. It's one of the records that really, you know, got me into music and made me realize that music is there. So I grew up with that kind of music. As a youngster, I was like a hip hop kid, but still embraced all kinds of music. And later on, one of my best friends was a DJ, and because of my best friend, I started DJing, which is basically, the story. It kick-started something I would never, ever dreamed of.
And were you expecting, like, was you having this career that you have now always the plan?
No, I just wanted to play music in clubs, and I never dreamed about no international career, nothing. I just wanted to play music.
So what was your actual first breakthrough moment?
My first breakthrough moment was that first time somebody gave me a chance to play in the club. So what happened was I went to this place and my friend was playing, and he had to go to the bathroom, and he gave me his record. He's like, yo, do it. So I went on for a minute and they liked it. And so the promoters were like, yo, you gotta come back. And that was actually, a little breakthrough. But if you're talking about a big international breakthrough, I must say in 2008, I produced Let the Bass Kick. And yeah, a lot of people see that as like one of those records that really kick-started the whole Dutch sound. And yes, it's actually true, you know. It made a lot of people realize that, oh, you know, there's some stuff coming out of Holland. And yeah, it helped me a lot, and I'm still on the road.
And where did you play your first club gig?
My first club gig, I played more like a little bit of everything, because that's the way I am, you know. I really like to play like an eclectic mix of music, whether I'm doing like an open format set or like a just electronic music set. And I always like to take it all kinds of directions, so I always blend different styles of electronic music in.
And was this in South America, was it?
No. Because, you know, I grew up in South America first, and then I moved to Holland. And in Holland, I became a DJ. So at a certain point, I think it was like 2006, I already had like 9 or 10 awards for being the best hip hop DJ in Holland. And then I decided to switch to electronic music. This was around, I guess, 2005, 2006.
And how long since you've been producing?
I started producing when I was 16. It's the reason why I started producing, actually, because I didn't even want to produce. I just wanted to DJ. Why I started producing is because I didn't have money for records, because they were expensive, those 12 inches, right?
Yeah.
So I used to sample records, borrow records from friends and sample them and start putting them together piece by piece, because you only had like 8 seconds of sample time back in the day. So I started to sample those records piece by piece and put them together again. And then I was like, hold up, why am I trying to put the original together, you know? I could basically chop it up and do whatever I want. And also then in that way, I have a special record of something nobody else had, because if you buy a vinyl, that's it, you know? So I started to edit those records and make my own versions. And those versions made me really stand out in Holland. I remember, you know, when I made these records, I used to go to the UK to press dub plates and stuff. And yeah, quite exciting, you know. It's the process. I kind of miss that process. But that whole process of, you know, and it was just 8-bit. But the whole process of, you know, going to a record store and even, like I said, you know, traveling to the UK, pressing up dub plates, kind of miss it.
And what software are you actually using to produce at the moment?
Right now, I have a simple setup. You know, I also have like a setup I use outside the studio, but I use Ableton.
You're an Ableton user?
Yeah, that's it. I started with I also posted it not too long ago on the internet. It's funny that we're talking about it. So I basically put the whole history of all my software. I started with Pro Tracker, which was an 8-bit program. And then I went to Fast Tracker, which was a 16-bit program. Then I went to Pro Tracker, which was a 32-bit program. And then I went to, let me see, it was Renoise after. And then I went to Acid. From Acid, I went to Cubase SX3. From Cubase SX3, I went to Ableton 6. And I'm still with Ableton.
Now, you've come to Australia quite a few times.
Yeah.
How would you say, what would you say is different about Australia compared to what other countries around the world in terms of playing and performing?
You know what I realized yesterday? Yesterday I was doing this open format party. I didn't realize that that people here would actually know all kinds of music, right? So when I played, it really made me see that, oh my God, these people know all this stuff. I was playing dancehall, hip hop. I went back with some, throwback R&B, and they were loving it. And I didn't even touch one house record. And this was exciting for me because, this is how you get to know people. Like, oh, okay, so they're like this, they're like this. Like, I played a lot of rock songs, they were into it as well. So I'm like, wow, this is amazing. What I've noticed is that, they really know their hip hop stuff.
And on Sunday, you've got Future Music Festival here in Melbourne.
Yeah.
How's your tour been going so far around Australia?
For me, this tour has been amazing. First of all, I'm really glad to be back because Australia is probably one of my top 3 places to play at. Because of the crowd, the crowd is so amazing and they're so open-minded. The most amazing thing is, of course, hanging out with all these other artists. I'm always looking forward to hang out with deadmau5, crazy fucker. He's fun. And one of the people I know the longest in the industry is actually Hartwell. I know him since he was like 12, And so it's cool to see where he came from literally nothing, basically from where I'm from, to become the #1 DJ. So the fun part is to hang out with all these DJs and not even on stage, but also behind the scenes, It's fun to hang out backstage with them, have a couple of beers and talk about, recoup about whatever happened this year. So that's the most fun part about it.
What about pre-gig rituals? Do you have any pre-gig rituals before you get up there on stage?
No, I'm not really a freak or anything, So I basically relax, have a drink, get my music ready, and make sure my tour manager has everything in check. That's it.
What about after the gig? Is there anything you'd like to do to relax?
The one thing I do have though is right after the gig, I try to have a minute to myself. It's funny if you see me on tour. Because I travel a lot, so I go from place to place. Most of the time after my set, me and my tour manager, we don't even talk to each other. We're just in the car and just on our phones, and no words spoken at all.
Now, tell us, what do you think you'd be doing if you weren't doing DJing and production now as a career? What do you think you'd be doing?
You know what? I thought about it a lot of times, but I would probably still do music, but maybe not DJing, but behind the scenes, like.
More like a producer or an engineer?
Maybe like an engineer or even like a promoter or something. I like the business side of the music as well.
Yeah.
Because I've been promoting events for like 15 years as well. So I would probably be a promoter or producer, yeah.
Now, I actually read something that I don't know if you still are you still a UNICEF ambassador?
Yes.
You like to do a lot of charity work?
Yeah, I like to dedicate a little time to charity, whether it's like physically be there or donate some money. I also started my own foundation this year, which is called Play Foundation, and through music as a media, I try to create awareness for whatever problem that's going on. It depends on every time I pick a different subject. Sometimes it's like a better education, or kids need to play more, because kids nowadays as well. That's a lighter problem, but kids nowadays, they on their mobile and, they forget like a little social, there's a little social part that gets lost. And the other maybe another time I do about, I'm talking about, hunger or whatever.
And how can people get involved? How can we let the viewers know to get involved?
Well, you could go to dirty-dutch.com and there's a link to it. They could donate money or, even initiate something. That's really cool.
And what do you like to do in your spare time, man, when you're on tour?
In my spare time, I like to listen to music.
Yeah, music related as well?
Yeah, no, I thought about it a lot of times. When I was younger, like, what's actually your hobby? I forced myself to have a hobby because music is all I want to do. So now I quite enjoy movies. When I have some time, I just enjoy movies.
Oh, beautiful. Any
Yeah,
TV
man.
series in particular you like watching?
I like to watch my little series, you know. I just finished Under the Dome. I love Breaking Bad. It was amazing. Those kind of stuff I really like.
And what advice can you give up and coming DJs and producers that aspire to be like yourself?
The most important thing, or that actual thing that really helped me out, is try to find a unique sound, and you know, don't try to be like. Of course, you could be inspired by somebody, but don't try to be that somebody. You know, as far as sound, of course, you want to have that status, but you also want to have your own sound. So try to be different and run with it.
And what have you got planned for 2014?
2014, I'm just releasing a bunch of club records, and probably like 2 or 3 radio records. I just got confirmed a very big name for my next radio single. I can't say the name because, you know, I don't want to jinx it. But it's a pretty nice record. It's also funny to say that last couple of remixes I did and records, I did this record called Dirty Funkin' Beats, which was funny enough inspired by Melbourne. I grew in Melbourne. You know, kind of that Melbourne bounce in it, but in my own way.
There you go. There you go, everyone. Chuckie.
Yeah.